Welcome back. So I want to showcase how far generative AI has advanced. So this will be a comparison between Hitem3D and Rodin Hyper3D. And this will be the case study. As we want to check over here, the image reference will be the following. So we see over here, this should have a chainsaw, and over here it should have a mechanical arm with 3 fingers over here. And let's check the output mesh. So this is with Hitem3D. We see over here that for the chainsaw, it further elongated it over here. So this side of the chainsaw looks good. The one that was also visible within the image over here. But over here on the back, this is actually from the torso of the robot. And that is also added, but in the back, the chainsaw has been further elongated. Other details are well preserved. For example, we see over here the rockets. 2 of those were missing. Over here, none of them have been added. And this is the second retry for this. So I'm going to go ahead and have this reprocessed. So I'm going to hit free retry. This has entered the processing. So I'm just going to go over here within history, and I want to show the first model, which is this one. So this is the initial one. We see over here for the rockets, it is a little bit less detailed, so they are not perfectly round over here, the cutouts. The chainsaw again was further elongated, and over here we're gonna see that the robot will have multiple fingers over here. Even though within the reference those are clearly visible over here, you're gonna have some cables. The cables are also added. Now, while this will process, we see that this will process quite fast. It's already 8%. I'm gonna jump within Rodin Hyper3D. And this is the case study. As you can see over here, I can redo this up to 50 times. So I decided to make this video because this was the initial mesh that I obtained. As you can see over here, those 3 fingers are a lot better detailed over here. We have that cable. If I'm going to rotate around, the chainsaw will also not be that elongated over here. We see over here the properties. So this was set to symmetric. The level was set to 1 in this case, the strength. So I'm also going to reprocess this in order to showcase the speed between Hyper3D and Hitem3D over here. So this is still at 60%. Also keep in mind that the output mesh over here will have 2 million faces, while the one from Rodin will have 1 million faces. So this is the current values of the parameters. Now I'm really curious if within the second iteration this will be a little bit better. Mainly over here for the top section, because the hand and the chainsaw was quite good within that. What I like about Hitem3D is the fact that each iteration will also be visible over here. We see over here the first one. This is a different case study that I wanna discuss, because this will be a weird perspective, and we're gonna see that within a weird perspective, the generative AI will struggle. So we see this will be the perspective, and this weapon over here onto the right hand will be flattened. So we see over here this mechanical arm is well defined, but this one is a little bit flattened. It should be further extended. So this should be a lot longer than that arm. But this is a weird perspective, and as you can see, generative AI struggles. And not only Hitem3D or Rodin struggles with this image, the other tools as well. They will all make that flatten. Only Viscom has made this a little bit larger. Okay, so this is at 32%, and within Rodin we see that this has already been processed, so maybe for a couple of seconds that's been finished. And again, we're gonna see over here that mechanical hand. For the rockets, now within the second attempt, this will be a little bit better, according to the reference, as we can see it over here. It's still not that perfect, but I'm really curious regarding the texture, if that will fill in over there. This mechanical arm should also have this thumb over here, so that's missing from both of those. Okay, let me just enter that again because I close it. And as we can see, for the mesh, we can go from 200,000 faces all the way up to 1 million. So this will be a detailed, sharp, triangular mesh. If you want this to be quads, it will be limited to the following, so 50,000 in this case. So I will go with triangles. We can also split this within parts, but that will be a different case study. So I'm going to confirm this, and we're going to have this processed. And over here, Hitem3D will still do that processing. So meanwhile, we have time over here to discuss the texturing as well. As you can see, the mesh will now be generated. So over here, we had a preview. And what I like about Hyper3D is the fact that this viewport offers a lot of information. For example, over here, we only had with texture or without texture, but over here I can swap the geometry, so I can add, for example, a bronze material. This is a nice touch up to the viewer, even though it just applies a simple material over here to the model. So we have the classic one where we can see the overall topology of the mesh without the wireframe. We have shading over here, and we also have normal, so this will show us the normal map. And we can also go within the classic one, or we can go within shading. Now we see that this has been generated. So I'm going to hit generate for the materials. We can swap the PBR temperature over here and the strength. So I will leave this as default 7 and 0.9, and I'm going to hit generate. So we should have that texture up and ready. I'm just going to open this in order to showcase the texture over here on Hitem3D. As you can see, the texture is quite well defined for a model that has been created using generative AI tools. And we are going to compare this with the one from Rodin. So one thing that I like about Hyper3D is the fact that it will move a lot faster, as we can see over here. And also we have additional changes that we can do over here. For Hitem3D, we can just select the object that we want to generate. So we go over here within create. We can check it with texture. We can select the resolution, and we're going to hit generate. So one model without texture will be 40 credits. And 50 credits if you also want to add that texture. So over here you can choose the file, and afterwards you're going to hit generate. You don't have additional changes. While over here within Rodin we have those additional changes. So this will be the texture. As you can see, we can redo this up to 50 times for my type of account, depending on your account. You maybe only do it maybe 10 times, the same with the mesh. And afterwards, we can select the desired resolution. So in this case, I will go for 4K, and I will go for the GLB file. I'm going to hit download, and this will make the model ready. So over here, this is close to finish. So I want to open Blender, and we're going to open those two outputs in order to compare the texture as well. So this will be the model. It does require editing, so if you want to go close to the original one, but you can easily do that within Blender. Within texture painting, you can use various images and you can project those directly onto the texture over here. So this is being packed now. Even though it's a GLB, Rodin will have this as an archive, so we see it over here. If I will jump there within downloads, I can have this extracted. and within that we're gonna have this. So the PBR material and the shaded one. We're gonna say the PBR will be larger in this case. So let's open that within Blender. I'm just gonna delete the default elements within Blender. So import GLB within downloads, the last folder, the PBR model. I'm gonna hit import, and this will be the model. As we can see, it will also have the texture. If I'm just gonna create the default cube, keep in mind that in Blender this has 2 meters, so you can get an idea of the overall size of the model over here. Since this is within Blender, you can easily scale it up to the desired dimension. Okay, so this model will soon be finished. So we have over here 95%. While that is being finished, I'm also gonna check over here the texture. So if I will go now within UV editing, let's check the unwrap of this one. As you can see, the unwrap will be like this. So this will have a matrix type texture over here, quite similar to the early generation of 3D scanners. And it's a little bit weird to work directly over here with this texture. But you can work with texture paint within Blender, so you can go ahead and paint on top of this, and it will automatically update over here onto the 2D layout of the texture. If I'm gonna check over here some details regarding the resolution, we're gonna see over here. So this is 16 megabytes, so 40,096 by 40,096 X and Y pixels for this image. And let's see, this should finish. And I will also download this and analyze it close to the other model. Okay, so once a model has been processed over here, you can no longer go back and redo that, but you can always upload again. So Rodin does offer much more functionality over here within this user interface, and this is quite an important thing. We can download it within the following file formats. These are all standard file formats and will be the same over here as well. So the model is loading, and as you can see, the same file format, GLB, OBJ, STL, FBX. So total of four file formats. We also have USDZ over here. In my opinion, GLB or FBX are superior to USDZ, so it's not mandatory to have that. You can always convert that within Blender easily. Okay, so this model should finish now. So I'm just gonna enter that that section over here on the website in order to see the final model. This way I also decided not to speed up this video to showcase the difference regarding the processing capabilities. So this is currently Gen 2, which is now available. So you can select it over here, you can add an image, and after that you can hit generate. If you want to swap to the previous one, you can do it over here. Okay, so let me just refresh this and see if that has been processed. Okay, so we see over here a live update, multi-view to 3D. So, okay, so this is quite interesting. Hitem3D didn't have the possibility to add multi-view, and I'm gonna do some case studies to see exactly how this multi-view will work. In the case of using multi-views, the problem with the chains over here, and for this one, those should no longer be that visible, since there will be much more information within those additional 2 images. So this chainsaw shouldn't be elongated. If we had one front view, maybe one from this side, maybe one from the back, and that will give us the exact information regarding the position and the depth of that within the final model. Okay, so we still see that the model is being generated. As you can see, I only have some models over here on Hitem3D, so this is quite new. This is an interesting case study because it will have a background with black and white, and other models will crop it. I already made a video regarding this, and Hitem3D outputted the best mesh in this case. It didn't crop anything, and it maintained the full logo over here in this case. So let's just have that model loaded while the other one is being finished. So this will be the case study. And as an example over here, so the reference image is no longer available over here. But if I will jump over here within Rodin, I have the same one over here. And this was the reference image, as we can see it. And this will be the output within Rodin. So I didn't generate the texture over here, so let's do that as well, because I'm really curious. So face restore, no, I don't want that to be used. I really like the geometry over here a lot better. As you can see, those will be a lot better defined than over here. So we have some overlapping meshes, but other than that, I really like the geometry and the overall texture. So this had a little bit of blue tint, as you can see it over there, and that is also visible within the final texture over here. I'm really curious now within Rodin if that will also be visible. Okay, so let's see if that finished. So it finished. I'm gonna download this as a GLB file. Meanwhile, that should also process. Okay, so this will be the output. Over here on the face, we have some overlapping meshes. The chainsaw has been further elongated from the previous one. And over here on the back, and this still will have this weird arm over here. So let's download this in order to check the texture. So I'm gonna hit download. And within Blender, I'm gonna import that side by side. So GLB, downloads. I will go over here to the most recent one, which is this one, 61 megabytes. So the one from Rodin is a little bit larger in this case. I'm gonna hit import. And you're gonna see that this will be the scale. So this is close to 1 meter. Let's move it over here and slightly scale that. And let's just bring them up to the same overall scale. So something like this. They will overlap like this. So both models are quite interesting. Okay, so this is the final output. And as you can see, this will be the texture. I will also go over here and within UV editing, I'm gonna check the texture. So I will not have that selected. And we see over here the unwrapping that this model will use. So this is the one used over here by Hitem3D. We'll have the following texture. And this was the other one. In this case, it had this image. So texture diffuse, we're gonna see the resolution, the same resolution, the same sRGB file in this case. So this is the one from Rodin. A little more of a, let's say, similar to early generation of 3D scanners. So they will just add those color pixels over here within this matrix. And if I'm gonna jump over here, this will be a little bit different. So we have some weird unwrapping over here, as you can see. But again, this should be unwrapped if you want to have a clean texture. Okay, so let's also check this. So the mechanical skull texture, and this looks really good over here. So again, Rodin will have some really good geometry, as we can see over here, both on the case study with the mechanical robot, the Imperial Knight, but also over here for this logo. So I'm quite impressed that it will work like this. Over here on the back, it added some weird texture, but it's mostly... Initially, I thought that this will be a flat end over here, but it actually has some weird meshes. While the one over here for Hitem3D just mirror that to the other side. So in my opinion, this is a little bit better of an output. Either it should have a flat background in this case, a flat plane over here, a flat surface, but this will have some weird geometry that will require additional cleaning. So if I'm gonna zoom in, you're gonna see that there will be some floating elements over there. Okay, so this was the overview. I'm really curious what's your opinion regarding this. Which model do you think outputs the best mesh, the best topology, but also regarding the texture? Okay, so I will also position a similar video over here on the left side, and I will add a subscribe button to the right. So that's it. Thanks for watching.